Halloween is spooky fun, but it's the perfect time of year to disguise your dark deeds. That realistic skeleton in the yard, it's just a decoration. That head on a stick, still just a decoration. Just don't ask too many questions though, because you could become a decoration too. Today I have an eerie and allegedly true scary story called My Brother and I Interrupted a Murder on Halloween, from Elfinator1234YT. This story might scare the pants off you. Good thing I'm not wearing any. If you have a story of your own, share it with us at darkstories.org. Now, let's begin. I lived in Ireland. I was staying with my dad as I usually did on the weekends. My dad is married to my stepmom, who's a nice person. Together they have 2 new children. I'll call them by their nicknames here. It may sound silly, but I'm Irish, and we live to be silly. Har was the oldest. He was 5 at the time, while the youngest, Ar Kachar, was 3. Now, the way my family goes trick-or-treating on Halloween every year is that my dad will drive us to the edge of an estate and walk us about. This year, he decided that me and my sister were old enough to look after the kids ourselves. So he drove us to the edge of the estate. My sister decided to take Ar Kachar and I took Har. They went left and the 2 of us went right. Both of my brothers have little pumpkin buckets. They're orange and had black mouths and eyes. The handle was also black. I took him and his cute little bucket to a few different houses. After a while, we made it to this particular house. You can imagine my horror when we get there and the old woman gives my brother an apple of all things. He said thank you though, and seemed happy to have it. Then we left. My little brother had more willpower than I thought. A few houses later, and we come across the next weird house. We go up to the door, and my brother's about to knock, but then I heard a voice. "Wait," I said to my brother. The voice sounded like a woman. Her voice was quite muffled, though. I couldn't tell what was going on. It sounded like she was laughing. Then I realized what kind of laugh it was. I didn't want to have my brother knock on a door that I knew the person inside was too busy having fun to open. "Let's just move on," I said. "There's no one here." "But you didn't check," he said. I argued my point, and soon enough we were off, but I kept thinking about what I'd heard. Why was that woman being so loud? After a while, we were done. My brother's little orange bucket was full, though I did everything in my power to make sure that it didn't happen too fast. Now fast forward 2 days. I was at my grandparents' house, and I heard my granddad say, "Did you hear about that woman who was killed up an estate?" he said, speaking to my grandma. I later asked him about this. He told me that he saw it in the local paper. Some woman was stabbed to death on Halloween. The killer would have probably gotten away with it too, for a while longer at least, but he did a bad job of covering her mouth so you could just barely hear her screaming from outside. In fact, the person who reported it was a father who had brought his child to the door to trick-or-treat. The thing is that he did this about 15 minutes after we'd left there. Yeah, that was the same house that we'd heard that weird sound from inside at. When I discovered this, I was absolutely shocked. And considering how much longer she screamed and moaned, this leads me to believe that her death was a slow and painful one. And I can't help but feel so guilty, knowing that I simply walked away when I could have done something about it. But my dirty mind thought she was having a different kind of fun. Now I have to live with this. Just know, not every scream you hear on Halloween is a fake one. And if you're unlucky, like we were, you may just stumble upon a real-life murder.